What does it take to build a dynasty? Is it the money? Is it luck? Or is it patience and pain? In the 1990s, the New York Yankees went from bottom feeders to baseball royalty. 4 World Series in 5 years. Legends were born. Records were broken. But few people understand just how close it all came to never happening. This is the story of how a dysfunctional, impulsive, and crumbling franchise became the blueprint for dominance. And how a forgotten executive named Gene "Stick" Michael quietly changed baseball forever. 1990. The year Yankee fans would love to forget. The team was terrible. 71-91. The worst winning percentage the Yankees had posted since 1913. Even the names on the roster, Don Mattingly, Jesse Barfield, couldn't save them. Mattingly, once a perennial MVP candidate, was a shell of his former self, his back betraying him. And the man most fans blamed for this misery? George Steinbrenner, the boss. A larger-than-life figure with an even larger impulse control problem. He was infamous for micromanaging, firing managers like clockwork, and shipping off young talent in favor of overpaid veterans. And on July 30th, 1990, Yankee Stadium erupted in cheers not for a win, but for a suspension. Steinbrenner was banned from day-to-day operations. Why? He paid a gambler $40,000 to dig up dirt on Dave Winfield, a player he never got along with. The Emperor was exiled, and from the ashes came the rebirth. Enter Gene Michael, soft-spoken, calculated, a baseball purist. He didn't scream or bluster. He simply built. Without Steinbrenner in the building, Gene had the rarest thing in New York baseball: time. He began carefully building the Yankees from the inside out. The farm system, once neglected, was now the center of attention. In 1990, the Yankees quietly signed a young Panamanian pitcher named Mariano Rivera. They also drafted 2 overlooked prospects, Andy Pettitte and Jorge Posada, in rounds 22 and 24. In 1991, a quiet center fielder named Bernie Williams debuted. His early stats were underwhelming. But Stick saw something others didn't. And in 1992, everything changed. The Yankees drafted Derek Jeter. That's 5 names: Jeter, Rivera, Pettitte, Posada, Williams. They weren't free agents. They weren't blockbuster trades. They were homegrown. It wasn't all perfect. In fact, there were a few false starts. Kevin Maas came out of nowhere and hit 21 home runs in 79 games as a rookie. He looked like the next big star, until he wasn't. Brian Taylor, a left-handed flamethrower and #1 overall pick, was supposed to be a generational ace. He never made it past the minors, but unlike the impulsive Steinbrenner years, Stick didn't panic. The plan stayed in place. In 1992, he made a low-key trade, swapping Roberto Kelly for Paul O'Neill. A bold move. O'Neill was solid in Cincinnati, but hadn't become a star yet. In New York, he became the Warrior. By 1994, the Yankees were back. They had the best record in the American League. Jimmy Key was lights out. The lineup was producing. The Bronx buzz was back. Then, the strike happened. No postseason, no closure. Just silence. For Yankees fans, it was heartbreaking. They hadn't seen October since 1981. And now, just when things looked promising, it was ripped away. March 1st, 1993. George Steinbrenner returned. But something had changed. He wasn't as hands-on. Maybe it was age. Maybe it was the groundwork Gene Michael had already laid. Rumor has it, Stick begged him, "Don't trade the kids. They're special." And somehow, George listened. 1995. The baby bombers were arriving. Jeter, Pettitte, Posada, Rivera. They weren't just rookies. They were the future. And the Yankees, after 14 years of waiting, made it back to the postseason as the first ever AL wildcard. For Don Mattingly, Mr. Yankee, It was a long overdue trip to October. It felt like your favorite players would dominate, then get shipped to the Bronx. ESPN couldn't stop talking about them. They weren't just a team, they were the narrative. Was it unfair? Probably. Was it effective? Absolutely. Today's MLB has luxury taxes, revenue sharing, competitive balance. But even in a more level league, no team has matched what the Yankees did from 1996 to 2000. They didn't just win, they showed up in October. Rivera, untouchable. Jeter, ice cold in the clutch. Posada and Pettitte, rock solid. Bernie, quietly legendary. It wasn't just the payroll, it was the players, and it was the man who picked them. The New York Yankees didn't just win titles in the 1990s. They restored the soul of a franchise. They turned broken pieces into a golden era. They reminded the baseball world that greatness is built through trust, timing, and talent. Not just cash. For every trophy lifted at Yankee Stadium, for every parade down the Canyon of Heroes, there's a quiet thread running beneath it all. One that begins with a soft-spoken scout named Gene Michael. He didn't demand attention. He just did the work. He didn't chase headlines. He chased character. And in doing so, he built one of the most iconic dynasties in sports history. While the names Jeter, Rivera, Pettitte, Posada, and Williams will be carved into Yankee lore forever, we must never forget who saw the spark before it became fire. Time has passed. The dynasty is gone, but its echoes are still felt. In the way front offices now value patience, in the way teams protect prospects, in the way fans remember that era not just for the wins, but for the heart behind them. If you loved baseball in the 90s, you probably remember the dominance. But if you understood baseball in the 90s, you remember the foundation. And if there's one final truth to hold on to from this story, it's this. Greatness isn't always loud. Sometimes it wears a scouting hat, carries a clipboard, and waits quietly for the moment the world finally catches up. If this story brought back memories, sparked new appreciation, or simply gave you chills, do us a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. Who was your favorite Yankee from that legendary run? Was it Jeter's leadership, Rivera's dominance, or O'Neal's fire? Thank you for watching 90s Sports Soldier. And as always, stay legendary.